business, academia, think tanks, society, media, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamu alaikum, namaskar, good evening. Let me thank each of you as distinguished friends of Bangladesh, if I may say so, for your kind presence at the High Commission as we celebrate the 56th anniversary of our independence. Each year, on this day, every Bangladeshi across generations pays homage to our freedom fighters for their bravery and supreme sacrifice made in the 9-month bloody war of liberation 1971. We remember the men and women who withstood the genocide, for standing against the occupying forces merely to uphold their identity and dignity, their yearning for freedom and sovereignty. We remember so many across India who stood by us emotionally, physically, materially, in West Bengal, Tripura, other parts of Northeast and beyond. We remember so much of support and succor provided to young Mukti Bahini force commanders in India. We remember Major Ziaur Rahman for making the declaration of war of independence for the people. Not least the 1,668 Indian soldiers who laid their lives on our soil for our freedom and justice. Excellencies, Bangladesh and India share a unique and multidimensional relationship. Here are two large populations who celebrate heritage in farming, weaving, craftsmanship, poetry, music, art. From Tagore to Nazrul, from Ritik Ghatak to Satyajit Roy, from P.C. Roy to Satyen Bose, from Ustad Alauddin Khan to Pandit Ravi Shankar. Little do we note that Ravi Shankar's concert for Bangladesh, I think it was in August 1971, turned the global public attention to the Bangladesh Liberation War from civil war in East Pakistan frame. All such portray our deeper human and cultural mosaic, replete with enduring oral history and practices. Within this vast multitude, one would see how syncretism and eclecticism define our people. So much so that our syncretic tradition ensures every Bangladeshi lives and prospers freely, irrespective of one's faith or belief. On 12th February, 76 million men and women in Bangladesh exercised their franchising freely and fairly. The world witnessed a participatory and exceptional peaceful transition to democracy in Bangladesh. In the lead up to the election, External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar joined the funeral of late Prime Minister Begum Khaleda Zia in Dhaka. In Delhi, Honorable Defence Minister Shri Rajnath Singh was here to pay homage to Begum Zia. Honorable Speaker of the Indian Lok Sabha Shri Om Birla and Foreign Secretary Ambassador Vikram Misri, he is also on the ground, joined the new government swearing in Dhaka. In articulating the vision of the government as christened as Bangladesh First, Prime Minister Tareq Rahman reiterated commitment to maintain a pragmatic and mutually respectful and beneficial partnership with India for shared prosperity. As we speak, both our countries navigate complexities and uncertainties in the global order. While we foresee tumultuous times ahead, Bangladesh looks forward to work together to preserve the values and principle of open regionalism and multilateralism for both of us being responsive and responsible nations. It would be apt to share what Honorable Prime Minister Tareq Rahman conveyed to Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi just last month. He writes, and I quote, Bangladesh accords high importance to its relationship with India, a partnership shaped by history, culture, geography that we share. Our two people share considerable commonality and enjoy deep-rooted ties. As our government embarks on a robust mandate, we look forward to advancing our ties and engagements with India, premised on dignity, equality, mutual trust and respect and shared benefits. I do believe if Dhaka and Delhi would address issues in ways that yield gains for common people, there is so much that our two countries can accomplish in shared interests, unquote. Excellencies, it's been nearly a year that I have been in India as the High Commissioner. To me, our ties go far beyond the $12 billion trade in goods. Conservative estimates, if it surprise some, point to comprehensive economic transactions to the order of $28 to $30 billion at the minimum. While trade and investment are important, I choose to reach out to every possible Indian, be in politics or in the press. From Agartala to Gujarat, I reckon that our future rests firmly on the people's shared belief in democracy and common developmental aspiration. Our demography is such that median age in Bangladesh is just 27 years, and across India, all India average is 28 years, wherein If you go to Northeast, it's only 22 years. Therefore, from the villages to metros, both people in India and Bangladesh aspire for a peaceful, harmonious, prosperous future within and beyond. Such should be our shared future, where none would prosper as others around lag behind or stay constrained. Our shared values should call for appreciating others' needs, endowment, and expectations. In the closest proximity as ours, should there be difficult or sensitive issues, those can and ought to be addressed forthright in all sincerity and candor, be in trade, security, or sharing natural resources. In spite of our limitations, Bangladeshis remain proud of the society's openness. We celebrate argumentation as our quintessential DNA. Yet, throughout the 2026 electoral campaign and the day of voting, Bangladesh witnessed remarkable convergence, particularly on issues relating to our neighborhood. People's overarching focus was on peace, stability, rule of law, and development within and beyond our borders, so much less on religion. We therefore didn't hesitate to welcome around 100 Indian journalists, all returned with authentic impressions, accounts of the people, seeing the ground firsthand, unhindered. As you walk to this lawn, sir, I'll walk you through later, the lineup of 20 photographs, which you might have seen black and white, presented by Som Bosu, who is somewhere in the ground, would suffice for what Bangladesh is and promises to remain. Excellencies, this evening, I missed one Indian friend whom I met last July in Guwahati, Zubin Garg. Zubin promised me that he would be here on this stage to sing or to render the national anthems of Bangladesh and India. Authored, again, no surprise, by Nobel laureate Rabindranath Tagore. Much to the regret of millions in Assam, Northeast, and Bangladesh, he left us for his eternal rest. But in the 1 hour I was with him, Zubin told me how he viewed people and nature, connecting across our shared rivers, wetlands, agroecology, rising above all ethnic, religious, and social divides. It is indeed possible, therefore, for us to chart a pathway towards interdependent relations, for generations to advance in Bangladesh and India, beyond all differences or divergences. The musicians, you just heard them, and the Kachi Birani, right on the other side. The smell is already coming. Troops who have come from Dhaka serve as modest reminders. May Indo-Bangladesh relationship thrive in that direction. I thank you.